Hamilton's debut victory with Ferrari has the haters eating their words. But with a P5 starting position tomorrow, will he keep the momentum going? In this video, we break down his first Ferrari win and what's next for the seven-time champ. Can he defy the odds again? Lewis Hamilton marked a historic moment by securing his first Formula One victory for Ferrari, dominating the Chinese Grand Prix sprint from start to finish in just his second race with the Italian team. Starting from pole position, the seven-time world champion expertly managed his tyres, crossing the finish line almost a full 7 seconds ahead of McLaren's Oscar Piastri, with Red Bull's Max Verstappen rounding out the podium in third place. This victory marked a milestone for both Hamilton and Ferrari, as it was their first sprint win since the format was introduced in 2021. McLaren's Lando Norris, the season opener winner in Australia, held on to the top spot in the standings despite a tough race where he finished 8th and failed to score any points. Norris now leads with 26 points, just ahead of Verstappen's 24. Meanwhile, Hamilton's Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc finished 5th, just behind Mercedes's George Russell. "I woke up feeling great today," said Hamilton after the race. "The first race in Melbourne was difficult. I really did feel a lot of people underestimated the steep climb it is to get into a new team, to become acclimatized within the team, understanding and communication, all sorts of things. The amount of critics and people I've heard yapping along the way, clearly not understanding maybe because they'd never had the experience or just were unaware. So it felt great to come here and be more comfortable in the car, because in Melbourne I didn't feel comfortable in the car. From lap 1 here this weekend, really feeling on it. We've done a great job. The engineers have done a great job. Mechanics have done a great job to really fine-tune the car, and it felt great today. I got a good start, and then there's so much grip on this new tarmac. It's really hard to look after these tyres, but I think everyone was struggling the same." Given the massive attention surrounding Hamilton's switch to Ferrari, ever since it was announced in February 2024, the 40-year-old was asked how he expects the team's fans to react to his sprint win. "I don't know. I don't feel the pressure," Hamilton responded. "I know the tifosi. I know the fans. I know the team wants to win. I know it means everything to them, but I said the other day that Rome wasn't built in a day. One step at a time. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to continue to push. We're going to be diligent and just remain focused. Stay calm, most importantly, because these moments get us all excited. We'll be back at our desks after this and focused on qualifying this afternoon. It's a long, long way. It's a marathon, not a sprint, so we've just got to take our time." But things would take a turn for Lewis just a few hours after. After the sprint, Parc Fermé reopens, giving teams and drivers the chance to make any necessary setup adjustments before qualifying for the Grand Prix. Once qualifying is complete, their setups are locked in for the rest of the weekend. While most drivers will take the opportunity to tweak their cars, particularly after gathering more data, and with Pirelli raising the minimum tyre pressure between Friday and Saturday, Hamilton shared that the minor changes he made between the sprint and qualifying had a noticeable impact on his SF25. He experienced balance shifts from one corner to the next, highlighting how even small adjustments can affect the car's performance. "We started really optimistic, naturally," the seven-time world champion told Sky F1 after the session. "But then we made just a couple of small changes, tweaks to the car, and it really put the car on a knife edge." When asked if there were specific car characteristics that could help him even more, Hamilton replied, "There's no one particular thing. You just want a car that's balanced. So at the moment, from one corner to the next, the car has a different balance, so you want a car that has a similar balance everywhere. As I said, we made the change. And then all of a sudden, high speed was overbalanced, and so you just want a car that you can rely on. And when you attack the corners, you know it's going to stay with you, instead of lock up and go on, or snap into oversteer. And when it's unpredictable, then you have no hope." The changes were to improve race performance, but it was definitely harder on the single lap, so it is going to be interesting. How you use the tyres is going to be key, but I feel optimistic for tomorrow. I'll try to get a good start and jump at least one car and slowly make my way up. Tonight I am just going to make a master plan of how to win, and I'm going to try and execute it. That's the mindset I have. There are going to be swings and roundabouts, right? There are going to be ups and downs, and we didn't expect to be 5th and 6th, or I didn't expect to be where I am, but it's what we are going to be faced with through the season. So we've just got to try and stay calm. Meanwhile, his teammate Charles Leclerc believes that the gap two of them had to the McLarens after qualifying is a testament to the ground they need to cover to catch up with McLaren. Leclerc will start 6th on the grid at the Shanghai International Circuit, one spot behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton, but a notable 3/10 off the pace of debut pole sitter Oscar Piastri in his McLaren. Just a week earlier in Australia, Leclerc was the best-placed Ferrari driver, though still 7/10 behind McLaren's Lando Norris, who took pole. However, the Monegasque driver was much closer in Q2. With McLaren's MCL39 considered the fastest car in F1 this season, Leclerc feels that after qualifying in China, the gap to their rivals has become even more apparent. "There wasn't anything more," said Leclerc. "It is a bit frustrating because on Friday, I wasn't really on it, and there was that potential for pole. And I feel like today I was more on it, considering it is a track where I've always struggled. I got the best out of today from what was capable on my side, and it wasn't enough. We were just not fast enough. I felt after Australia, if we put everything together in qualifying, we would be 3/10 off. And we put everything together today, and we are 3/10 off. I will say that this is the gap between the McLaren and ourselves. I haven't looked at the data yet, but turns 1, 2 and 3 are standing out as to where we are struggling." "It felt like it, at least," he said, when asked if that was the maximum he could achieve in qualifying. "Lewis did still a better job than I did, but I felt like I maximised on my side. I don't think there was anything more. Being in front of Lewis or being behind, that doesn't really matter, because as a team we start next to each other. As a team, I think we maximise the potential of the car, but the most important thing is that we understand where the potential of the car has gone, because from this morning in the sprint, or from sprint qualifying, we were much faster compared to the others. I think yesterday maybe Lando Norris would have been a step ahead if he had finished his lap, but with other people we were more or less in line. Today, even though it's tight, we seem to be a bit more on the back foot because I think both laps, Lewis and mine, weren't that bad. It was pretty good. It's the way it is." So was Hamilton's sprint race win a fluke, given how poorly he and Leclerc finished after qualifying?